Is it working? Okay. All right, this is John and Quincy here again. So this is our second episode of The Real Process. And so here's the deal. Today we're going to talk about just how to start the process, when to talk with an agent, who to talk to, where you find the agent, all the information with that. So John and I will both talk. We'll hit on the topics. And so I think to start off with, what we're going to do is we're going to discuss current interest rates on each episode. And then we're always going to kind of do a synopsis of the market and then pick a neighborhood and just kind of run through that real quick. So John, why don't you start us off? What are interest rates right now?
So rates right now are still historically low, which I can't believe I've been saying this for 7 years. But right now for an FHA VA loan, you're sitting probably mid 3.5 or below if you have high credit scores. On a conventional loan, you're sitting around 3.5 to maybe 3.625 on a conventional conforming 30-year fix. Obviously, everything depends on your interest rate, on your credit score and the loan program that you pick. So that's a fine print.
Cool. And just in general, the market right now, it's still pretty hot. We've kind of seen an extended period, which is good. A little pullback just because school started. But I think much the same as the spring and the summer. If it's a good neighborhood, inventory is always low. Buyers are out there. So the neighborhood we're going to go over today is Remington. I've kind of noticed a giant uptick in Remington. It's what Hamden was 2 or 3 years ago. And so the total sold volume in Remington was almost 75% up from this time, July 2015, July 16. So if you're looking to buy your first home or even buy an investment property for rental, that's a neighborhood you might want to check out. So, all right, so let's dive in. So our first question we're going to talk about is just where to start. So how do we get connected with a realtor? What's the best way we find a real estate agent? There's a million and one ways to go about it, but I personally think the best way to get connected is to get a referral. You have an opinion on that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, if you have a friend who just went through the process, you have parents, things like that, if you can get a referral from somebody, that's probably the best way to go about it. Even better than any sort of advertising or things like that. Aside from once you find the agent, typically the next step then is to get hooked up with a lender. So, the best way to find a lender
is honestly through a referral. Do a little research on that individual. Nowadays with the internet, everybody's got different review sources. And I also think it's important to work with a team of people, not just, you find which you have the full right and ability to do, but you have the ability, I think it's best to work with a network and people that are familiar with working with each other in order as a team to get you to closing.
Yeah, so for instance, I work with John a lot, not because I'm jealous of his beard or anything.
It's a nice beard, though.
It is a nice beard, but we work together a lot, so we know each other's processes. So most real estate agents who've been doing this for some time or do any sort of business will have that network, and that real estate agent should help you be able to navigate the next steps and how to find a lender. At least set you up with one or two really good lenders to work yourself out. So, all right. We also want to talk about sorry, that was Mark's phone. We also want to talk about, so when you start your process, a lot of people turn to the internet. Can the internet be helpful in starting a real estate process? Yes and no? Yeah?
Yes, enough that it will get you in the right direction.
Sure. But
no, and enough that I think it gives you a lot of false information or sets unrealistic expectations.
My daughter was sick, and I went to the internet, and in 3 minutes I diagnosed her with meningitis.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I think if you go to the internet to back up the people you are using, I think is a much better tool. Obviously, you do searches, and we'll talk about that in a second, but you find a realtor, you find an agent, you want to do reviews, you want to do things like that. All that stuff should be found on the internet. If you choose an agent and you go to the internet and there's zero presence, you probably want to choose somebody else. But I would not base all of your information, all of your facts on the internet. It's a good place to start, but it's certainly not the end all of information.
Yeah, and the internet's great too because obviously, you want to work with somebody that's experienced and that's going to give you the dedication and the time that you deserve. And not just going to push you off to 40 other people. So the internet's nice because you could really research that person's past sales. Everything is public information pretty much now.
Right.
So that's definitely a huge plus with doing the research on the internet.
I think one thing to shy away from the internet, just be wary of advertising. I know personally, I advertise a lot on Zillow. I get calls every day, and people are just generally confused on how it works. So, just because somebody's face is up there, 8 out of 10 times it's because they're advertised. They've paid to be there. So again, it's a great spot to start, but really do your research. Use the internet for like research and backing up the facts of what your realtor, your lender has said. Not so much, use the internet for the fact of how to find somebody. So now you've got your realtor, you've got your lender, you've done some research. So basically, we want to talk about on the lending side. What are the differences between lenders? We have big banks, we have direct lenders, we have mortgage brokers. What are the differences between all of them?
So, I mean, obviously, big bank is a big bank. You're going to be dealing with, the bureaucracy, most likely with the big bank. I could speak from experience. I was with the big bank. I'm not, bashing anything, but it's a different mindset. A broker is somebody that 100% outsources your loan and they don't have the underwriting capability in-house. A direct lender or correspondent lender, which is what primary residential mortgage is, we, underwrite all files in-house. We service a majority of our loans, and everything is done locally. So that's those are the big differences. Really, at the end of the day, and this is what I tell every client, you want to work with somebody that is going to be dedicated and understands your situation. The worst thing that you could do is just call 10 different lenders and ask them for their interest rate. That is, essentially what you're going to do is put yourself in a bad situation. We are going to be, as I tell every single client too, is, Quincy's going to be your best friend for the next 30, 60, 90 days, however long it takes to find a house. He's going to talk to you about decorating the house, this and that, and the different ins and outs
really
of the home.
Decorating?
Well, maybe.
I don't think I ever.
But you're going to be paying the lender for the next 30 or something years, so you want to make sure that you're getting a good loan tailored to your needs, not opposed to just the lowest interest rate because that's what your great aunt Edna told you to do. So sit down with the lender and dedicate some time to meeting with them. I say an hour with a lender really puts you in the right direction. So.
I think from the consumer side, some other important questions are find out where the lender's team of people are. I think for me, the more local everybody is, where's the underwriter, where are the process, where are all those people geographically located. The easier it is to reach all these people in the process, the smoother the whole transaction will be. Not bashing any sort of type of lender, but you have people spread out all over the country. It makes communication a little harder, a little slower. So I think that's one major question people should ask when they find a lender.
Yep, good point.
All right. And so, the whole process, I think, from finding a real estate agent, finding a lender, how long that should take. It really depends on your own speed. You could do all that stuff in a day if you really wanted to. But I think most people, probably when they're serious about the process, it really takes them about a week or so, I think, to kind of nail down their real estate agent and the lender, their team of people. And
you want to work with the team. I think that's a point that we made earlier is, you want to have a team of people on your side. If you go out, Quincy's going to shoot me a text message and say, hey, John Smith really loved this 123 Main Street. The price is this. The taxes are X. It's a Saturday or Sunday. I'll respond within, a couple hours with a cost estimate, breaking it down so you understand what you're getting yourself into. So you're not just blankly going there and say, hey, my lender said it was pre-approved at $350, and you just write an offer at $350 on a house that's $350.
And we'll talk about the pre-approval more in depth next time, but it's a super important step, and we'll talk more about that. So the last thing I want to talk about is probably one of the most common questions I get when I meet with a new client is, when can we start looking? When is it appropriate to get out there and start looking at houses? So, the technical answer is we really should look once you get pre-approved, because anything else, you're just sort of window shopping. If you don't know your budget, you're just kind of out there blindly looking at houses. So once you get pre-approved, that's really the time to get serious and looking. The real answer is we kind of look when you're ready. When you've kind of, if we have to do some neighborhood exploring, that's worth taking a look. If you're not exactly sure if you want a townhouse or a single family, it's worth exploring those options as well. But once you have gotten your team, you've gotten pre-approved, that's the time when you really get serious and start looking for houses.
Yeah.
Sound good?
That's perfect.
All right, so that's it. That's all we have. Oops,
I think, too, we talked about the internet real quick. Again, the internet's a great source to find things. Zillow is a good, sitting on the couch tool. But I think we were talking earlier before we went live.
So Zillow's awesome. There's a love-hate relationship, I think, with Zillow. But I think a better tool we have is like most people searching from their phones nowadays. So if you download HomeSnap, it's a more localized app. there'll be a link when we put out the actual audio version of the podcast. You can download it and set it up, and it's connected directly to MRIS, which is the Realtor database. So it's much faster and it's as close to real time as possible. So we'll throw a link out there for everyone.
And that is hands down the best app.
It's way better, yeah.
So
Perfect. All right.
But that's it. Yeah. Obviously, we're here for questions. So not right now live, but
eventually.
Eventually, maybe one time.
Not just our wives.
Yeah.
But on the audio version, you'll have contact information. You have links to everything, websites, emails, all that stuff. And then we'll plan to be back in a couple weeks.
Perfect.
Good.